So we get to see things from a different perspective, to make sure that, of course, the short-term goals are met, but make sure that whatever direction we're going is exciting and good.
So tell me more about that. Do you have an example of something where you did that?
So obviously the sales people, they're more focused on getting the big budget and making sure that it gets used within this quarter. Whereas we would sometimes even say, at least internally, and sometimes even to clients, that whatever we're trying to sell doesn't make sense because it's just too nearsighted, and that we're in it for the long haul. So we want to make sure that it's best for the brand and best for our users, not just a quick win. So we try to go in and ask what the real issue is and making sure that Twitter is there to help solve those issues.
Mm-hmm.
Is that specific?
Yeah. And what do you think would the client miss if you were to disappear as a group?
That's a good point. So I think when we are not as robust in products compared to our quote-unquote competitors that offer them new, solid, reliable products. We always do things that's more broken in a way, but it requires certain understanding and certain risks taking to do something new and innovative and impactful. So without brand strategy, I think all of those elements would be reduced, and that would be mostly pure advertising products, the basic boring things. So they won't be able to do something that's new. It'll be just for plain simple menu that we might have.
What do you mean by broken?
So I shouldn't say broken. I just want to, I think it's because Twitter's products are harder to understand and really getting the most out of it. And I think brand strategy, salespeople too, but I think brand strategy really helps people understand the value in those complexity, not just our ad products, but the context of how users talk about brands, how users participate in campaigns. So we really are the people to tell and share those learnings to brands. But if we didn't exist, I think it'll be salespeople showing the latest updates or what other clients, competitors are doing, but not really getting the reason why people are doing it or why it's useful for the brand or why it makes sense for the brand.
Are you bringing a human perspective to the table or a user perspective to the table that salespeople are not bringing?
I think so. I mean, that's what we try to do, yes.
And how do you do that?
Because in the surface...
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Yes, so that's a good point. And I think on the surface, when there's a new case so let's say Nike did something really cool, or, a cool brand does something cool, and then those cases are just be shared because they're cool. But we really want to make sure why that's happening or why that made sense for the brand, that brand, like the cool brands, and why this case is meaningful for the maybe not so cool brand, like another client. And if we can provide them why that resonated, not just for the surface, superficial cool factor and the wow factor, making sure that it's people understand why people use Twitter.
And why is it for you?
Why is it for us to use Twitter?
What is it in your mind that people use Twitter for?
I think it's because people want to take part in the conversation. Maybe not necessarily talk all the time, but make sure that they are included or they feel like they're taking part in it is definitely something that we offer and not other I think that's where we excel as a platform.
What do you mean by taking part? Sorry.
So Twitter is Twitter because every user is unique and every user has a voice. So a brand is a user like any other user. So if a brand is able to offer new talking points or new thing for users to talk about, then users are, obviously they will see it, they can share it, but those two perspectives that can be used on any other platform, people can say. But Twitter is a really unique place where the people are, not, I shouldn't say equal, but there's an equal opportunity for people to take part. So that's why when I say taking part in conversation, people are free to discuss and talk back to the brand and engage in dialogues. Brands can talk to other brands. Brands can talk to celebrities, and not celebrities, but every other people. It's just people willing to take part in your brand. So that's where I think is a unique place where brands can really, as much as I hate the word, engage with their fans and followers.
How would you say the engagement? So, what's an interaction on Twitter, and what makes an interaction on Twitter so distinctive?
I think it's unique because you feel the human side of the brand. Because it's so real time, it's very honest, genuine. Of course, people can be superficial, talk on surface, whatever, but what makes brands shine on Twitter is when they have that human element. And I think we, brand strategy, can help bring out the human side.
Do you feel there is more human side on Twitter than on Facebook?
I think so, for brands.
Because of what?
So I think maybe this is particularly the case in Japan. So in Japan, Twitter users don't use their real names. So people have their own identity on Twitter. And people take part in conversation as that identity. And then maybe this might be a Japanese cultural thing. But you get to be your true identity for that specific handle. And for those handles to engage with a brand, that really connects those two identities. And that's why it makes it more human, because it makes it more authentic in a way, even though it is under not real name, like a pseudonym, or not revealing the full social identity, but whatever passion that people have. So in Japan, people have multiple accounts. Certain people would have one for their real friends using their real names, and an account for their secret obsession that they don't want to reveal to their real friends, but they're free to express on Twitter. And then they would have one to engage with their real close people. That's a secret account for. So they would have multiple accounts to use by different identity. And I think that's why the tweets we find, it makes it more rare, raw, I guess, to see that emotion, because people don't have to care about what other people would think about.
Yet they're listening.
Mm-hmm. So for brands, that makes it unique.
And what do you think the world would miss if you specifically, brand strategy, were not here?
Honestly, I don't think the world would miss anything. And this is not to be pessimistic, because I think in the end we are catering to marketers and brands who do. Maybe that's too pessimistic. Let me try to think. So using that idea that I said that clients would only be getting the regular menu of Twitter advertising. So if if that were to continue,